Part due, everybody.
Part due.
Dose. Wow. This is great, man. I mean, one of the more interesting topics we've actually covered on this podcast.
And I'm going to watch Hot Shots Part 2.
Charlie Sheen. Hot Sharts. Oh, God.
Hot Sharts. Watch out for those.
What an incredible movie. All right, welcome everybody back to the Sports Experience Podcast. I am co-host Dom DiTolla, sitting alongside my co-host Chris Quinn. How we doing today, buddy?
Man, we're doing good. We got a special guest right here for Part 2, Roy Lee Reynolds.
Yeah.
Check out these dudes have a comedy album out right now called Tucson Bullies Volume 1. Mm-hmm. And then possibly by the time this comes out, Tucson Bullies Volume 2
Part 2
will be out or eventually be out. I imagine the recording will be about done. So they're doing it November 19th.
Yep.
At Tucson Improv Movement. So
9
check
p.m.
that out. Yeah, I'm sure it's already sold out, so I'm not even going to give you the promo code. So there you go.
Roy,
Roy, give the promo code.
Give the goddamn
promo code. Use the link below unless they forget to put it in there, or our socials and whatnot. But use the promo code VOL number 2. And not TWO or TOO or TEAUX
or do.
But just the number 2 and. So you can get $5 off your ticket. There's a very limited number of tickets, so if you want to come to this thing, you need to get a ticket.
Yeah, and the $5 off sounds pretty goddamn nice.
Yeah, that's a beer.
Yeah. All right, so we are back in second part on Kyle Turley.
Yeah, post-career.
Post-career.
That's what I feel like.
Football was the part 1 in this kind of early life, but now we're getting into some really dark, a lot of peaks and valleys in this.
Well, it starts really dark, and this is the thing that I feel like he is trying to emphasize the awareness that these NFL players have, like in this 5 to 10 year stretch right after NFL, where like everything starts to get taken away from them, and they're severely addicted to opioids. You know what I mean. We're going to get right into it.
So the NFL is run by a bunch of piece of shit crooks. I'm just going to throw it out there in terms of. A lot of these former players have neurological and mental issues after they're done. Is it because they're getting hit in the head? No, that can't be. Is it because we're loading them with opiates to stay on the field and exercise every little bit of last energy out of them while we fuck over their players' union? No, that can't be. Not at all. No. And Kyle Turley is caught up in this whirlwind of shit when his career ends up ending due to injuries.
Well, Roy, you say something.
Yeah. All right. I was about to say, this is, shortly after his NFL career is when I crossed paths with him. I'm not going to say I know the dude, I don't, but I've met him. And he was coming out of the NFL, rebuilding a new career, which is amazing. Any pro athlete can figure out how to do because they're typically not given the tools in college and in their pro career to do anything else.
Yeah.
But what he was a musician. Like we said in Volume 1, he would play music while he was in the NFL for fundraisers for this or that. Let's raise money for the cops, the fire department, or the kids, or whatever it is. And other guys would play golf. And do these golf tournaments and stuff. He would play music, and he befriended a lot of your metal guys in New Orleans, and guys like. Guys in Crowbar, cats I've worshipped since I was a teenager, and one of those, the most famous, would be Phil Anselmo of Pantera fame.
And Down, yeah.
Yeah, Pantera, Down, he's kind of the king of New Orleans metal. And then he also befriended like Hank 3, who's out of Tennessee and whatnot. But he befriended these guys and put a band together and started touring when he released this album off his label, Gridiron Records. Mm-hmm. And I met him opening up for Hank 3. And I think at this point in his life, he'd moved to Nashville.
He did, yeah.
And he left Louisiana and went to Nashville to pursue music, which he did very successfully. Did it very punk rock, DIY, like here's my record label, here's my band, here's what I'm going to do. I don't care about the big corporations, which is, way ahead of his time in this lane. And he's opening for Hank 3, and I watch him in Austin, Texas at Emo's, and Hank's playing, doing his thing, and I look over at the merch booth, and he's just kind of standing there slinging T-shirts, and I went, I guess now's a great time to go buy a CD. So I went and I got this guy. He inked it up for me, and a really nice guy. But I kind of checked him out, and I could tell like he's not as big as he was when he played in the NFL, but his wrist is still big around as my waist.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I was like, he's got to be 100 pounds down from, his prime in the NFL, but
He's still huge.
And
he
still
is
a huge dude.
Big old boy, man. He's a big dude. And I was like, yeah, thanks, Mr. Turley. You want to sign my CD? I was such a dork. But yeah, he couldn't have been nicer and cooler. And then I kind of grabbed my CD, stuck it in my back pocket, and went, back and watched the rest of Hank 3's set.
But while all of this is going on, this is during a time period where at 34 he's diagnosed with CTE. Mm-hmm. By the age of 40, he has early onset Alzheimer's.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's carving out a music career, but he's also trying to get off the opiates and trying to, have his faculties about him because of all the injuries he's sustained, both in his head and the rest of his body. There's depression, anxiety, rage, suicidal thoughts, anything and everything. You see all these players who have the CTE and end up really spiraling down and out of control.
I was going to say, you can really see because they really have a lot of the similar things that come with it. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about, because I saw him interviewing a bunch of ex-football players and they were like, well, how's your light sensitivity?
Yep.
All of them are wearing sunglasses inside. They're all like, from the concussions, this is like a huge thing. And he was talking about thinking that he was getting better on opioids, and he was like, yeah, I'm only taking 5 pills a day. And he would like look back on it and be like, that was my mindset. Like, I'm not taking 25 pills anymore, mid season, you know what I mean? And that was the thing that a lot of these guys really don't understand is they were so ridiculously addicted that now that they're like semi-addicted, they're like, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
When he testified in front of Congress in 2010 in January about a concussion he sustained, another probably reason he hates the Rams and Mike Martz. They let him back into the game, and then he's playing 4 days later. He talked about what a joke a concussion protocol was in front of Congress.
Because it was in practice, they let him back, right? Or was it
They let him back. It was during a game, and then they let him back during practice later that week, and he played the following week, which is crazy. And, you're thinking about like, okay, well, what's he going to do with this? He started the Just Cool Me TKO initiative to help with players like that. He's offered to donate his brain to the Boston University Medical CTE Center. So, he's really trying to help all of these former players and players who are playing right now who 10 years from now could be in the exact same boat, regardless of the rule changes, regardless of how much the NFL culture supposedly changes according to, the tackling and helmet-to-helmet hits, whatever. So,
well, he's just really trying to bring awareness, and this is where we get into, because I felt like he went down this musical path for a while, and then he was talking about touring taking such a big toll on his body, and he was like, I really have to stop touring, because he still plays music. He still has bands that, he still rocks, but he just doesn't, he was talking about, it's like, I just can't tour anymore, and this is when he really started to get into the business of marijuana. So
I thought it was smoked marijuana during his career.
He grew up as a Mormon. Yeah. And like I said in the earlier one, he was actually angry at other players when they would get busted for it. And he was like, I was so stupid. I didn't realize that I was, well, he didn't say that, but he was like, I was just not realizing that they were just trying to curve this pain. And why are we, testing college athletes kind of thing. But this is where he was talking about how marijuana came in. And I was talking with Dom before the podcast. I was like, he said it was a Hall of Famer, but he wouldn't name it. But the Hall of Famer came up to him and he was just like, you need to start smoking weed right now. I can see you're messed up on pills and I can see you just need something else. And he was talking about finding the right strain, which is something that
it was like a quest he was on almost.
It's really an interesting thing because he was like, I need the strain that goes for light sensitivity and that is not making me super hyper. You know what I mean? It's such a great thing where you hear people who actually need marijuana for the medical side where they're like, well, I found this one and it works for me. And you're just like, yes.
And he talked about moving back to California because they had more lax marijuana laws because not all states can, it be legal in. So he's moving back to California, trying to set up businesses and also just I need to find this because it's the only thing that'll make me right after my body has been destroyed by the rigors of the NFL. And the types of substances it took to keep playing in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, and it was brilliant. Within his music circles, it's very much stonery. And then post, like, coming out of the touring, still does music, but yeah, like Chris said, not touring very hard. He's befriended, back to friends again with Ricky Williams and working with them. And you see him, anytime you see him do a podcast or another interview, really weeds what he wants to talk about. There might be a scotch of music, a little bit of like, here's some funny NFL stories.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm here to talk about the here and now and weed, and you hotboxing with Mike Tyson or Joey Diaz's podcast. Those two come to mind first. And that's really all he wanted to talk about. And I get it, because to him, it's something that completely gave him a life again and has made him functional again. And I haven't, like I said earlier, like I met him about a decade ago. I'd like to see the dude now, just see how he functions. Chris nailed it when he was talking about sunglasses. That night when he was playing, he's 2-3 songs in, he goes, guys, you guys got to forgive me. I got to wear these sunglasses. I can't handle these stage lights.
Yep.
And you could just see he's not trying to be like the cool rock star and I want to look cool with glasses. No, he's like, I got to do this or I'm going to have a seizure.
I was going to say he's getting a severe headache.
Yeah. He cracked a joke about that. And you just kind of pay attention to everything he's done post NFL, and everything he's done is like, let's ease out of the body and try to be less physically demanding, and let's try to rebuild my brain with diet and the correct marijuana and the correct CBDs and whatnot, and the correct exercise. Keep the pounds off to keep weight off your joints, which I can relate to from some terrible injuries I've had. And I see this, and then I look at my past career, in the military, and I look at my brethren and kind of the stuff they're doing to get better, and it's the same shit.
Yep.
It's not CTE as much as it is PTSD, but the idea is the same. It's still brain damage, which I deal with myself too, and it does work. I can tell you, in the year I've been out of the Air Force doing a little weed at night, it's cut my boozing in half.
Yeah.
And the guys, my brethren that didn't go down the weed rabbit hole have like tripled down on their drinking. It's a good thing, and I'm so happy he's doing it and just really championing it. He's still fighting with the NFL to like, you guys got to quit drug testing these guys for weed,
when he's
like the NBA does.
$1 billion lawsuit too.
Yeah, the NBA went, we don't care about weed. And he's like, why can't the NFL do this?
And literally the NFL should way above. It's not like people are fucking ramming their heads together in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the guys in the NFL legitimately need this at the end of the day to like go to sleep. And this is something that the NFL players didn't have, was this player post-career coming out and being like, look, we need to like figure out how to, because there's so many suicides and there's so many guys that just like their life, like you were saying,
like a Dave
post-military,
or
their
Mike
life
Webster.
just like really starts to spiral because they associate with this one thing, and now it's taken away from them, and now they're just kind of floating out there.
When he puts his money where his mouth is, like he started the Gridiron Greats Assistance Fund. It's a nonprofit. All the some of the proceeds from his CBD sales, because he has a CBD company, and his concert revenue go to help those people. And he was also instrumental after Junior Seau, former Charger great, Hall of Famer, after he killed himself, when he definitely had fucking CTE. Let me tell you what. He was instrumental in setting up a 24/7 hotline for any assistance for former NFL players who are going through all of the depression, the anxiety, the rage, the anger management, that type of shit that is not talked about. Because the second a player's career ends, basically up until really, the concussion, book and movie came out, unless they were in the media, you never really heard about them again.
Yeah. No.
They were just lost. They were disposable heroes.
Yeah, they weren't given the tools to go do something beyond football. And some of the guys, all pro athletes really, some of them can go open up a car dealership or this or that. Some can make, if they were famous and popular enough, they can go do the autograph circuit, and Topps will sign contracts with people, just sign 100 cards every year and we'll give you a check. That kind of cool thing. Turley don't participate in that. Go on eBay and find a Topps card with his autograph on it.
Yeah. No, and
I dare you, try. I want one, like, try.
January 2017, he started THC-free CBD company. It was Neuro Armor, but of course, Under Armour, bunch of...
Yeah, Under Armour sued
Under
him.
Armour.
Neuro XPF. And then in March of 2020, he
has
a dispensary, like Sean Kemp. Only Sean Kemp probably didn't have CTE.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of child support.
Yes, he does. Yes, Sean Kemp does.
Well, and this is the big thing that I think, because they were asking him, you're obviously getting into weed because you see it's like this giant growing industry. And he was like, no, I'm trying to push this plant so that it's so normalized that it's not looked at for these ex-players to be like, whoa, that guy's getting stoned all the time. It's like, yeah, that guy's taking care of himself.
Not even ex-players, current players.
Yeah.
Just like, hey, man, my joints are kind of fucked up. Or like, man, I fucked up my knee. Instead of, here's a bunch of Percocet, it's like, well, do you want to try marijuana? Like, do you think this will help more? Like, maybe try both and see
Maybe
which one
try
works
this other
for you?
strain. Like, that was the big thing. If
Here,
you
take
want
this
to...
edible before you go to bed at night.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, he was talking about it with these ex-players, and the guy brought all of his pills, and he literally had like 8 different bottles.
Oh, God.
And then he was talking about it. He was like, it's not getting better. Like, all the thoughts in my head are getting worse. And then you see him like a couple of months later, it's a different person. And like, you could see he's just like, yeah, I'm on like 1 pill right now, but it's just, and you're just like, yeah, like, there needs to be a fucking program for these guys. And you're right. It needs to be really when they're playing, but especially when post-career is my thought.
Yeah, but we can't have that because weed is terrible. It's just this
Ronald
horrible
Reagan
thing.
told us that.
Yes, just say no. But hey, it's horrible. But here's a bunch of things that are killing millions of Americans every year, and because you're a large human being, you'll need to take more of them, and we're paying you on contracts which are only partially guaranteed to stay out there, or we'll replace you with somebody younger and cheaper.
Yep.
What a crackerjack business model, NFL.
Well,
dicks.
Thank you, Kyle Turley, for trying to turn it around.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
That's what's so awesome about it, him. So
it's also really cool, and I wanted to get back into the music thing, is, you see all these guys, it's like, oh, I'm the sideline reporter, or I'm Phil Douchebag Sims on CBS. Like, the country music is where he's exposed, and where he's going around different places and really making a name for himself, and it's really refreshing. And listening to his songs, he's pretty fucking talented.
Yeah, dude can, sing his dick off, and he can play guitar. You can, I can, pour up some drinks or smoke a left-handed cigarette and go down the Kyle Turley rabbit hole, and I'm not watching his NFL. I'm listening to these songs on this CD and his other ones. Chris did Death, Drugs, and Double Cross. That's a good EP. You can get it for like $3 on iTunes. Dude, get it. Pay for it, please. And Gridiron Records, you can get this. He's got a
Delta Doom.
Delta Doom. That's like a sludge metal band. It's man, that is hard. I like it. And that's the kind of music that I listened to as a teenager, because that's the way we play in Louisiana. We tune the guitars down low and play really slow, and it's crowbar. That's the way they play. and he just kind of befriended those guys and just fit right in, because he is a metal guy, number one, but he's got a really good country music voice, and like
his
playing
dad was
it.
super into country music. I had read. That's what got him
his
involved,
dad was a farmer and a truck driver. Like that country
That's it
music
right
tropes
there,
right
yeah.
there. And believe it or not, California's pretty hillbilly. Outside San Francisco and L.A., it's pretty hillbilly. So, he just kind of fit right in with that and did it really well, and didn't go butt country route and sign the contract. Yeah, butt country. Hey, everybody, welcome to 100.7 on your FM dial. We don't play anything but country. Butt country. He didn't do that. He didn't sign the big contract with, RCA or whoever on Music Row. He just went, I get with the marijuana, like, put my money where my mouth is. Gridiron Records, it's mine. I own it. And
well, like you were saying, in his off time during his season, he was playing this music.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that was like it was crazy for him, especially when he was playing for the Saints, because you're right, his style of music is straight up the Louisiana. Even like the country is straight up like that's like old school country. The metal is super fucking slow metal. Like, it's he fit perfectly into that community. And I feel like if they had legalized weed, he would have stayed there forever.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
Yeah, hopefully they do in Louisiana.
Here's a little known fact. Really, probably only hardcore Down fans of the band Down.
You got to be down with Downs.
Know this. Down's a super group of like the baddest dudes out of New Orleans. Formed a group. Kurt from Crowbar's on that band. Phil from Pantera. We can go down the line. Jimmy Bower. But he befriended those guys, and he was at Phil Anselmo's house when they recorded their second album, which that band locked themselves in Phil's house, and with just mountains of just beer and weed and trucker speed and somebody barbecuing in the back, and those guys didn't like sleep for a month straight and cranked out an awesome album. Kyle was hanging out with those guys a little bit, and they were filming, and by filming it's like somebody with a camcorder doing jackass type filming. And when Down started touring their second album, they called it An Evening with Down. No opening bands. They would show a little movie that was about 30 minutes, and then
was
they
that the one we watched? Or is it
no,
one?
No, it was a different one.
Okay.
But this is like circa 2002.
Okay.
And they showed a little movie, and it would have like some music videos and then a little behind the scenes of them when they were recording the album. Part of that was Kurt from Crowbar and Kyle Turley on who knows what substances Kurt was on. Kyle was probably painkillers and that's it, I'm going to guess, because he was still a Saint at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you see them both in a 3-point stance, and and Kurt just is, he's like, down, set, hut, and Turley just boom levels him. And they show this in the movie right before the concert.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm watching this, from some shitty rock club in Oklahoma City, just like, oh my God, that's funny, and I was like, oh my God, look what they did to Papa Kirk, but it was so funny. And I found that footage on YouTube. If you do a deep dive on YouTube, you can find it. I don't remember what to key in, Down pre-show movie or something, Down, Kurt Winstein, Kyle Turley, but you can find that on YouTube. I have
Down to,
because something like that. Yeah, Down to A Bustle in Your Hedgerow is the exact name of the album. But yeah, you can find it, and it's funny to watch, And Winstein, who's short and real stocky, he's got, those big, calves, like, you could tell he played football in high school, but he didn't make the NFL.
Not in the NFL.
Not the NFL, like we played in a young age. That don't mean we can get in a 3-point stance in front of an NFL guy, But it was just so funny. And if he had one, he would have. But it was just like the funniest thing to watch. And do go find it. You want to watch something funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Do listen to his music. Check out Delta Doom if you're a metal guy. This album's called Anger Management.
First one, yeah.
Yeah, that's his first one. His other one, he's got an EP called Death, Drugs, and Double Crossed.
Yep.
It's really good. It's he refers to it as power country. It's not necessarily your 70s outlaw country, but it's very much in that vein. And and if you're a fan of just raw, outlaw country, this is gonna be your thing.
And he's open for like Hank 3, Crowbar, Skinnerd, tons of
Skinnerd,
really famous and good
Merle
bands.
Haggard, like George Jones, like some real deal country guys, metal guys he's been friends with.
Now he's all into weed.
Yeah, I don't know if he still plays shows at all. I know he's not touring, but I don't know if he does a show here and there. I'm sure he does, but I'm really not sure about that. But you could probably find out on Gridiron Records website, and you can get all his stuff. And do go get it and pay for it. Be old school, like it's still in the 90s, and buy the CD or the vinyl or however you want to do it. But just don't bootleg his shit, man.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And that's our episode. Kyle Turley. Thank you, Roy Lee Reynolds.
Yeah,
you
Roy,
got something?
Anything you want to plug as far as your social media or anything?
Yeah, everything's at Roy Lee Reynolds, nice and easy. And Yeah. And check out our album and check out Mr. Turley's album,
And that
too.
album, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody, this is just a stock message at the end of every episode. We hope you enjoyed whatever athlete and or team that episode was about. Just want to say, give us a quick follow on all social media. We have a YouTube channel, the Sports Experience Podcast, and we're on Instagram, DiTolla Dominic, and myself, C. Quinn Comedy. So give us a follow all around. We're always recording right here at Engle Studio. Thank you all very much.